I can't say I'm going to make Jaws, but I want to bring something back to that sort of arena where it's like, this is straightforward, it's scary and suspenseful, and the sharks are actually scary. It's not just like flying through the air with 3 heads.
Now, how are you going to have real sharks interact with actors?
Well, you're not going to actually have the sharks interact with them. You do a combination. We have footage of the sharks, we have the actors, and then we have things like the fake fins and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
All kind of blended all the footage and bring it together so that the attack scene still happens. We involve real sharks, but you're not having a shark really attack the actor.
Okay.
It's movie magic.
Well, you're the magician. I don't know. But Nemesis 5 was a big thing. I mean, we say big budget, but I remember in the video store seeing the Nemesis movies.
Yeah, the first 4 like kind of cult classic action films.
Right. And were they spin-offs of Cyborg or?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, they're set supposedly in the same universe because he made or started a film called Cyborg Nemesis that never got finished.
Oh, okay.
In 2000, so I guess that was the crossover.
With Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is...
He's in the original Cyborg, but I think that's the only one he's in.
Okay, so he's not in Nemesis.
No. It's Olivia Grunther that's in the first Nemesis.
Okay.
And then Sue Price is in 2, 3, 4, and then my movie.
Right. And how did you get the rights to do Nemesis 5?
I just bought it from Albert. It was actually because of the video store. Like, one day I was just in the video store and I had this guy named Mike Reeb who ended up writing the script. He was my poster supplier at the store. And one day he brought in a Nemesis 1 and 2 poster and hung them on my wall. And one day I was just sitting there, spacing off, looking at the posters, was like, that's a really cool series. I would wonder what's going on with it. I would love to make a sequel. And so I just like literally looked up Albert on Facebook, friended him, sent him a message, was like, hey, I made all these movies. I love Nemesis. Can I make a sequel? And we talked about it, and then I bought the rights and I made it.
How much were the rights to Nemesis, can you say?
I don't want to say that. He cut me a really good deal, though.
Oh, okay.
He's a really good guy.
That's great.
So we did it on the cheap, obviously.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most high profile. Is that the biggest budget movie?
Yeah, it brought me here. Yeah, I mean, it was at the very end of that. I was like on the second to last day of shooting. I was standing there, and I'm like, what am I doing here?
You were shooting Nemesis 5 in Nebraska.
Yeah. Okay. And I just decided, and I think it was in 2 months I was living in California. And I never imagined living to LA. I was like, oh, I want to be the biggest fish in my sea in Nebraska. I'll do all these movies here. I'll like dominate.
Right.
But kind of like what you were saying, it's like you get to a point where you're like, okay, I've like done the most I can do. I'm bored. Like, I'm just going.
You were a top filmmaker in Nebraska.
Well, yeah, and you can't go much further after that. It's like, then what? Then I can make another movie next year. It's like I'm not going anywhere doing it. It's like here you can keep moving up. You can make more money. You can have a better life. So I finally transitioned to moving up here.
And let me ask you, because I just saw the new Halloween last week.
Mm-hmm.
I was disappointed.
I have mixed feelings.
What would you have done with that?
Okay, so Meathook Massacre 5 that I'm about to start is actually very much like the new Halloween, which is a sequel to the original. I like that idea, but I feel like it still missed the mark because, I feel like they made Jamie Lee Curtis a little too crazy.
Right.
Because I was so excited to see the new Halloween. I mean, I was there opening day. I was like all about it. And I saw it, and the whole time in the theater I was just kind of like thinking about it. And I went and watched H2O again, Halloween H2O, a couple days later.
It's the same thing.
And I was like, H2O is better.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. It's like she's more straight. She's the way she's supposed to be. I feel like it's still set in that universe. It's like now it's like they're almost trying to say like, okay, we're just going to cover up all the mistakes we've made and just start fresh. It's like too far. There's been like 12 of them.
Well, the thing about H2O that the new Halloween didn't have, and I thought they were going to have, was that moment where Michael recognizes her.
I know.
And they didn't have that.
Well, they kind of had it in the new one. He breaks through the door and grabs her, but they don't really.
Yeah, but they don't have that moment like that thing. And it was like Halloween 2 meets Halloween H2O, and then they threw all these little.
I have to say it's better than Rob Zombie movies. I love Rob Zombie, and I like White Zombie, but I can't stand Rob Zombie's Halloweens.
Really? I thought Halloween 2 was pretty good.
Are you serious?
I'm completely serious.
With like the ghost.
I must have been drunk or high or something, but I thought it was creepy. But the new Halloween, when she got thrown out the window, and then he turns around and then she's gone. I'm like,
that was so an homage, though.
I know what it was, but it was lame.
No,
because when she got out the window, I'm like, I know what's going to happen. He's going to turn around and she's going to be gone.
What I think is really surprising, that movie really polarized audiences because there's a lot of people that appreciated the homages to the original film, and there's a lot of people that didn't like it. They're like, why couldn't it just be its own movie? Like in the trailer, there's a bunch of scenes that weren't in the movie. There's a scene at Haddonfield High School where you hear the cheerleaders doing the chant from part 1. Right. That's cut out of the movie.
See, that type of homage is fine.
But see, and that's what's funny to me. It's like, where do you draw that line? What homage is good and what's bad? Like, she can't fall out a window, but they can have the high school cheerleaders. Like, what's good and what's bad?
It was kind of in the background. It was a little over the top, just for me. I don't know.
Right. Well, that's
so Meathook Massacre 5 is going to be like what you would have done for Halloween.
Yeah.
The first Meathook Massacre was what, last year?
2015, but it takes place in 1989. We shot it on SVHS, and like it's a total period piece.
What's SVHS?
It came out after VHS is Super VHS. It's what a lot of the TV shows were filmed on in like the 80s and 90s.
Oh wow, okay.
Like we actually
so you filmed it on broadcast. VHS?
Yeah.
Oh,
all
okay.
master tapes are SVHS. Yeah.
Oh wow. Very cool. So you're really
so
retro.
It's cool because I've kind of created this timeline within the universe, and so now Part 5, even though it was filmed 4 years ago, it's 20 years later.
Oh, so you already filmed Part 5?
No, we're filming it in like a month.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't keep up with you. You got so many movies.
I can't keep up with myself.
You just stopped. You just did Robowoman with Don Lee Heising. Now you have like this whole repertory company of people that keep coming up in your movies.
Well, it's kind of like, John Waters back in the day or something. I've got just like this pool of people that once they work with me, they're like, yeah, I want to work with you again.
Right.
Like, you get shit done. And so now I've got like, it's kind of sad. I was talking to somebody about this recently. I'm actually having to turn a lot of people away now. Like, I get so many actors like, okay, let me know when the next one is. It's like, I got 50 other people I have to give roles to.
Right.
And then in the music, too, that's always a big issue. Like, all day, almost every day, I get people like, oh, let me do music. And I'm like, it's really sweet, but I have like 30 other people. It's like, I really don't need music.
Right. Well, if you need a pinup or a chubby guy for a movie, you know where to go.
There's all that, too. There's always all the weirdos, too. Like, if you need like a morbidly obese guy, just hit me up. I'm like, okay.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Yeah,
but
thanks for reaching out.
Yeah. So, but Don Lee Heising's always in your movies. You got Mel Novak from Enter the Dragon's always in your movies.
Brink Stevens has been in a bunch of stuff lately.
Right. So you just ran into these people just moving here, or
through the internet?
Is it like an Ed Wood thing? They just all sort of coalesce.
Yeah, I mean it's like word of mouth. Like I just do so much, and just, a lot of like the actresses and actors I work with are sort of from the 70s and 80s era, because that's like when I grew up. And so they all kind of are friends. They all know each other, work with these people and they talk to each other. Donna's been a big help. I mean, Donna Heising, I worked with her and she's sort of been the one championing me to everybody. Like, oh, you got to work with Dustin.
She championed you on when you were on the show.
Of course.
Said great things about you.
She's really sweet. She's been a big help for me since I moved here. I really appreciate her.
And did you write Robowoman specifically for her?
Yeah, it was really funny because we finished Nemesis 5, and I was kind of contemplating, I had like 3 projects I could start next. And I was like, I want to really give something to Donna, because all of Donna's roles have sort of just been like a side character.
Right.
And I was like, she's so unique. She has the standout look to her. Mm-hmm. She's like got that vintage sort of pin-up look. And I was like, you got to give her something real. Like really just show her off. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I always kind of want to do a rape revenge film, because I'm all about the female empowerment. I love the women getting the revenge, kicking ass on the guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, but what's different that hasn't been done yet? And I was like, well, I'm sort of in this cyborg state of mind with Nemesis. I was like, let's make it like sort of futuristic. Like she has these cybernetic parts that make her crazy, and that's why she goes on this killing spree. Yeah. So it all sort of just came to life. And then one day I called her, I was like, hey, so I got this movie idea. You're the star of it. It's called Robowoman. She's like, oh my God, yes. So, it's sort of how it all started.
So there was Lady Terminator, but that was...
Yeah. That was an inspiration too, Lady Terminator.
And also Robo Chick. I don't know if you remember that one.
No, I haven't seen Robo Chick.
There's one called Robo... It's C.H.I.C.
Oh, jeez. So, like it all stands for something.
Yeah, that was a video store VHS classic, but...
well, and obviously it's an homage to that stuff. People don't sometimes realize how self-aware I am. Like I'm a fan of the trashy exploitation movies.
Yeah.
So I'm like making those on purpose. So I mean, like Robowoman's meant to be the way that it is. It's not like I'm trying to make Terminator or RoboCop. I'm trying to make Robowoman.
Right. But do you down the road, maybe 10 years from now,
everything's a step up. I mean,
do you see yourself working for studios, even on a Blumhouse level, or even?
Well, that's the goal. I mean, as long as you're always working. I feel like I kind of have always stepped up. Killer Tomatoes is one of my next films I'm doing, and that's going to be pretty big. That's got a lot of money in it. So.
Wow, another Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's a part 2, they're calling it. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes 2.
So it's like Halloween.
Yeah, you're scratching
all
Tomatoes,
the George Clooney, all that stuff is out. Yeah. And your Killer Tomatoes is going to be the true sequel.
I guess so.
Wow. That's that. Okay, you don't have to say what money, but what costs more, the rights to Nemesis or the rights to Killer Tomatoes?
The difference is I bought the rights for Nemesis so I could do it myself. I was hired for Killer Tomatoes.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, I don't spend any money.
Oh, okay, good. Well, I guess
I was going to do the fun stuff.
There you go. Well, last we talked, no segues tonight. Last we talked to Tamera, you were in Washington.
Right.
So how did you get to LA?
Okay, so I met a boy.
I figured.
Yeah, I met a boy or a guy. I moved out here. It didn't pan out, but I stayed.
Okay.
You know, I kind of had like one of those moments where it was like, either I'm gonna just pack up and move back to Washington and, you know, be with my family, or, you know, stay in California, like dig my heels in the dirt and like really buckle down. It's been a rough ride.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got 3 mouths to feed.
Yeah. It's California is not easy by any means at all. You know, it's gotten harder.
Right.
You know, but you know, it's just one of those things that I guess I don't know. It's just like something inside of me. It's like, this is where I need to be. Like this is my spot. This is, you know, like if I just keep at it, you know, it like you know, things will happen. So it's just been, you know, dealing with like blows from life and kind of up and down, but still trying to stay on the same path. Because I just know that there's better opportunity for me out here than what there would be in a small town.
Now, do you do live burlesque or just modeling?
I just do modeling. I've wanted to do burlesque. I come from a dancing background, but I've never. It takes a lot to kind of get into that. You know, it's the props and costumes and, you know, and things like that. So it's easier for me to kind of do the modeling, you know, for right now than it is to like get in, because that's a whole other. It's a whole other. It's like the pinup and the modeling and then the burlesque. It's like 2 different scenes, but it's all the same. Right. You know, so it's just, I'm just kind of sticking with this right now with the modeling. And I've had a lot of photo shoots at my house. When I first moved out here, I moved into a house that was built in 1952. Oh, wow. And it was a little pink house, and it had always been pink from like the 50s. So it was like.
Do you know who owned it before?
No, well, the lady that I was renting it from, like she was, her husband was like the original owner, and then he passed, and she had it, and she was renting it. But then she sold it, so I had to leave that place. But I had a lot of photo shoots. Probably a lot of the pictures that you've seen. I did like an Atomic Christmas shoot, and then I had a bunch of other ones. I've had a lot of girls from the scene that I've like shot. Masumi Max, she shot at my house, which I died when she came
she's
over.
great. I love Masumi, yeah.
You know, I was having like a fangirl moment. I called one of my friends and I was like, oh my God, like Masumi Max is here. You know, and I'm like, she's in my bed right now. And you know, it was kind of surreal, like getting to that point where you like step behind the curtain. Right. You know, because these were like her and you know, so many other pinup models
and you figure out they're real people.
Yeah, they really are, and she's amazing. She's
the coolest. Yeah, she's real nice.
She's so down to earth, and I know she was like eyeballing some of my vintage stuff. She had like a thing for corner furniture. I had this like little cabinet. She was like, "You want to sell that?" And I was like, "No, but I love you." We
could do a shoot on it.
Yeah, like you want to come over anytime. You know, but yeah, she was really cool, and I've met some really amazing girls out here, and you know, it's funny because once you do get behind that curtain and then you see like how small the community was, because I had been following a lot of these girls since I had lived in Florida. Right. You know, been like Retro Lovely magazine, which was like the magazine, you know, to be in. It was like Retro Lovely, Deadbeat, which was out of Australia. And those were like the 2 top like pinup magazines you wanted to be in as a pinup. So. And
you made it in both of them?
No, Deadbeat actually folded. They quit before I got a chance to be in that one. Retro Lovely, I did get to be in it. I didn't get cover, but I was in. That was like my first like major publication, and I was living in Washington at the time.
Now what came first? The moving to LA or the Viva Las Vegas?
Oh, I went to Viva Las Vegas before I moved out here.
Right.
Yeah.
Viva Las Vegas, by the way, Dustin, is the big rockabilly festival in Las Vegas every year.
It's like the Super Bowl for rockabilly.
Yeah.
And like so our big, everybody's gearing up for it right now.
Yeah, no, I hopefully I'll make it this year.
You should.
But when I lived in Vegas, I did a couple. I went over there, and it was a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Hot Betty Page looking women everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gay.
I know.
What are you trying to?
No, there's a hot.
But okay, I have
there's
to
a
say,
hot
hot
guys.
Page posters on my wall
Right.
growing up.
Which is weird. I don't know if that's like a gay thing though, or what the deal.
Well, I
is.
did too, but I'm straight. It's so
Right.
weird. I don't think it's a gay thing.
It's universal. She appeals
Right.
to everybody.
She really, I mean,
Right.
she was stunning, you know. I mean, and for what she did.
I just thought she was badass at the time. I was
Right.
like, she's freaking cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how it was like.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Like,
I guess I was the only one that was actually aroused by her.
You're the one that actually, yeah. Was like,
I was actually aroused
We're just
by
like,
her.
she's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's cool. She's cool, but then she's really cool. No, I wasn't going to bring it up, but you are gay. Is it?